Hello everyone, this is Steven Rogers Lim here. Thanks a lot for joining me and tuning in to my video and channel once again. So I have in front of everyone the Mark 47 Iron Man diecast from the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. So I think most people would already know, or most collectors, or if not all collectors would already know, this is a rare piece. And maybe just a bit more of an introduction. I managed to get this quite a few months back at about 900 Sing dollars or 900 Singapore dollars, which is pretty expensive if you ask me. But then again, compared to the prices now, it's much cheaper. So the prices have further increased, or I would say inflated. So if you convert 900 Sing dollars or Singapore dollars, is about 660 US dollars or 650 US dollars thereabouts. So this is the prices that was a few months ago actually. So now it's definitely much more. I can't remember how much more, but I've seen them in a range of at least 1,000 US dollars or more. So that is definitely about at least 1,600 Sing dollars or more. So this definitely gets rarer by the day. So maybe even before I begin reviewing this figure, right, just to take note that this was from a previous owner or previous seller. Is definitely not brand new condition. In fact, it is in BIB, back in box condition, so it's pre-owned. And I can tell you that a pre-owned figure is definitely very different from one that is mint in sealed box condition, brand new factory sealed condition, where some of the parts or some of the joints are actually quite loose and is very obvious. But nonetheless, this is a very rare figure now to get. Very expensive, very rare. So I just feel very fortunate to have this figure, to be able to own this figure, to be able to buy this figure way after its release. I can't remember how long ago this figure was released, but I think this was released at least about 3 years ago, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Alrighty everyone, so I have the Mark 47 suit in front of everyone, together with its accessories and all the other parts. Maybe before I move on to the review of this figure and its accessories and different parts, just some more quick information. So the movie was actually released, the Homecoming Spider-Man movie was actually released back in July 2017. So I did a bit of checking and research again back in history. So this figure was actually released in the same year, 2017, around October, November. So it's been more than 2 years since this figure was first released. And actually at that point in time, if I'm not wrong, I've heard and read many times where many people found this Iron Man suit, the Mark 47 suit, a bit weird in the color and the design, the combination. So many collectors or many people didn't buy this, didn't get this. So it is what actually, so this is actually what caused the prices of this suit or this figure to be drastically pushed up, even up to today. So keeping in mind that mine is actually a BIB or back in box, pre-owned or used version, however you call it. It's a second hand basically. Now on to the figure itself, right? I must say that again, that this is a pre-owned figure. So as I mentioned previously, this figure is a bit loose at some of its joints. So this might also be a good clue of as to what joints or which part of the figure would actually become loose after a while. So from the way I feel it, right, it's actually in the elbow here that's quite loose. So probably the previous owner had a lot of posing there. Okay, this one feels much tighter. So maybe a quick look for everyone first around the figure. Now as I'm holding on to this figure, right, it's actually very heavy. So it's really typical of the die-cast Iron Man from Hot Toys. So maybe I mentioned something here quickly, but the Mark 50, right, I think I also mentioned in my unboxing or review video that the Mark 50 actually felt quite light. So there is a possibility that the Mark 50 had lesser parts or components that are actually made of metal. Probably that's why the Mark 50 felt a bit lighter in comparison to many of the die-cast Iron Man produced by Hot Toys. So there you have it, a all-around look or a visual to the Iron Man Mark 47. So I mean, this figure, right, at the beginning people felt that it was a bit weird or off or a bit unusual or not typical of the Iron Man suit, and yet because of its difference, collectors soon realized its beauty. I would say its uniqueness or exquisiteness, if there is even such a word. Yes, pretty exquisite if you take a look at it. So definitely the usual posability there, if you ask me. Hip posability, neck posability there, the knees, the thigh area, the ankle. So the usual possibility there. I mean, if you ask me, right, even if I give this a bad review or very honest review, I mean, collectors would definitely still want to go get it or are hunting for it. So this is a very typical die-cast Iron Man, I would say. Just probably that it does feel quite heavy. I think that's a difference among all the Iron Man I have or I have handled so far. Pretty heavy. Otherwise, beautiful Iron Man there, Mark 47. Unique color there. So there, I think there is also a joke where in the movie Tony Stark didn't have time to finish spray painting this suit. That's why it accounted for so many of its grey or silverish area. But then again, because of this, I think it gives the Mark 47 its unique color combination. It's a piece of art. I mean, I've always said that Hot Toys, many of it are pieces of art. We buy not just toys, but pieces of art. So I think enough about the figure there. Maybe on to the stand. So we have the unique Spider-Man Homecoming figure stand here for the Mark 47 Iron Man. So this is the typical underhook or groin grabber kind of stand, the ones that I usually like. I never liked the dynamic stands, lest the figures fall or the dynamic stands themselves break. So maybe it's a bit more unique about this stand, right? You can actually combine it with this here. So this appeared in the movie. I don't know what it's called actually, but I think it was activated or used to save people on the ship or the ferry boat there. No spoilers there. This movie has been released more than 2 years ago. So how do you fix this, right? You can actually take the hooks out, place it on top like this, and insert back the hooks. So you can actually display this dynamically. Let me show you here, over here, and have the Iron Man placed beside it, so that it looks more badass. I would say, pardon my language there, maybe I would say more beautiful there, more unique and different from the rest of the Iron Man. So maybe the back view here. Alright. Now this, so this is a dynamic stand. Actually, it feels quite durable. Definitely a good addition to the stand. I mean to the U-shape or groin grabber stand. Now this accessory here, right? It feels a bit light. Maybe let me plug this out gently here. So this definitely feels plastic. But nonetheless, you can really see its detail there. It's really true to the movie, to Iron Man's technology. Very nice piece here. So there are actually two holes here which you can attach it to this. I would call it a mini dynamic stand. Yep, that's how it works. So let me put this aside. So now on to the rest of the accessories, right? So maybe let's talk about the wrist first. You have this typical firing wrist of Iron Man. Right, definitely durable, and you can take a look at yourself. Take a look at it yourself. It's well designed, detailed, true to the movie. Okay, blaster hands here. So as usual, right, I have the rubbery hands. Let me feel where the rubbery hands. Yeah, these are the rubbery hands. Right, usually each Iron Man will come with a rubbery hand, so that when you pose it right, it's actually a, I would say, slightly flexible, bendable, not too hard, so you will not break. So that is the purpose of the rubber hands, in case you all were wondering. So it took me quite a while after reviewing Iron Man figures and playing around with them that the rubbery hands are important, lest you break them, because they have to be placed against the arm like this, so that these areas, or all these areas, don't break. So it feels rubbery. Good material there, by the way. So these are the more posable hands. They feel more plastic and feel more brittle, right? Or more, I would say, breakable compared to the plastic or rubbery kind of hands. Sorry, rubbery, not plastic. These are the more plastic hands, but detailed nonetheless. Of course, I mean, Hot Toys, right? Especially Iron Man figures or parts, you don't purposely go and break them. They won't. I mean, if you do drop the figures accidentally, then that's really unfortunate. So these are the usual, typical shoulder accessories where missiles are launched off from the Iron Man. So usually they can be interchangeable with these parts here. Yeah, this part here and this part here. Right. Okay, so you just gotta spend time playing around with them if you do own a figure of the Mark 47. So definitely plastic material here, so there are magnets to be attached to the figure itself. So these are also the typical missile, interchangeable with the forearm plates. I would call it the forearm near the wrist areas, or the wrist or the hand areas. Very plastic and yet very detailed. You can take a look at it yourselves. So they work on magnet as well to attach firmly to the arms of the figure. Very plastic, but feels quite durable itself too. I mean, plastic yet durable and very detailed. So maybe onto the head sculpt. So this is the perfect, I would say, the non-injury kind of head sculpt compared to the Mark 46 one, which Tony Stark was injured during battle. So this is, I would say, this is the clean head sculpt that comes along with the Mark 47 figure. Detailed as usual nonetheless. The hair, the eyes, the nose, everything, the facial features. So if you watch the movie, right, you will know that there was a scene where the Iron Man came without the face, without Tony Stark inside. Just the suit to help, if I'm not wrong, was to help out Spider-Man, or to help out in some crisis during the movie. But then again, of course, there was another scene where Tony Stark actually appeared in the suit and proved Spider-Man wrong. So this is the mask here. See our magnets there to go along with the, as in to be attached to the head sculpt. Okay, fits perfectly, snapped on. Of course, as usual, it comes with the batteries and the screwdriver and the plastic tongs as well. So these are two extra blasters or firing accessories, whatever you call it. Okay, I think many of the the Iron Man marks do come with the extra here. Usually they can be attached to the arms, to the wrists. Now this is the one that I want to talk about. It comes with two pieces. So if I'm not wrong, right, they were used during the scene where they were trying to save the people on the ferry or the boat or the ship. So there were actually people online asking if anyone is selling these parts. So I think the particular collector or collectors broke their accessories. I mean, these are pretty hard to come by. You would have to take this out from a complete set to sell it. I don't think any collector would want to do that, actually. Alright, so as I was saying, these are the parts, or more clearly, they are called the mini repulsors that were used in the ferry or the ship or the boat scene to save the people, to prevent the ferry from breaking into half. So these parts, right, they are actually the fire or the flame to be attached to the mini repulsors like this. Alright, so the mini repulsors can actually be attached to the repulsor deploying unit like this for this effect. Yep. So if you're wondering what these parts are for, there they go. So this is actually the mini repulsor deployer. This is the mini repulsor. This is the flame or fire, whatever you call it, right? So I mean, these are the main parts. So on top of that, this is the neck piece. Of course, in case you would like to display it with the Tony Stark head sculpt. Okay, it should be inserted like this, if I'm not wrong, or maybe the other way around. Pardon me there, I'm not very sure at this point in time, but of course you can fiddle around it, play around with it. This is definitely the neck piece at the bottom of the neck, that's what I know. And of course the glasses there. So there you go everyone, that's the review video of the Mark 47 Iron Man die-cast version from the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, MMS427D19 die-cast. So if you like this, I hope you found this review video interesting and useful and informative for you. And of course, if you like this channel or this video for that matter, hope you can give me a thumbs up, a like for this video, and subscribe to my channel, Steven Rogers Lim. So I do hope that you will catch my upcoming videos. There is a comparison video of this definitely coming up next. And as usual, take care and goodbye everyone. And of course, as usual, don't stop collecting.